Hey folks, in today's video I'm going to show you 36 upgrades and mods to make RV life better, simpler, more enjoyable, you fill in the blank. Now if you're looking for a tour of my Imagine XLS 21BHE, I did one when I first got the unit, just how it came out of the factory, so I'll put a card up for that. Today I'm really just going to be focusing on those 36 upgrades and mods that I've done after the first 6 months of initial ownership. This is probably one of the most requested videos that I've gotten, by the way. Now, I've done videos like this on the past on other rigs, and to be completely candid, I've always felt a little bit awkward because it's basically show and tell. And who am I to think that my upgrades and mods are so incredible that others would want to see them? But then I think back to about 9 years or so when I started RVing, and I think about how helpful it was to see upgrades and mods that other RVers had done on their rigs. I would watch them and it would give me inspiration and ideas. And so that's really the theme of the mods and the upgrades that you're going to see today. You know, making RVing simpler, less hassle, less setup, less teardown, just more enjoyable overall. Now these are mostly going to be very brief, not too much detail really. I'm just going to list them and the benefits. Some of them are very minor, some of them even perhaps insignificant, and then there's some that are more complicated. And so do me a favor, and if there's one that you see that you would like more information, more details on, comment below, and that'll help me out to know if there's interest to do a more detailed video in the future focusing on just one of the particular mods or upgrades. Now, last thing I'll mention is I'm going to do my best to put all the different products featured in these upgrades and mods on my Amazon storefront, and so I appreciate you using that to help support the channel. I'll include a link to that down below. However, if you cannot find a particular product featured in today's video, maybe I missed it, definitely comment below and I'll be glad to send you the link. All right, so 36 upgrades and mods. We're gonna start on the outside, work our way around, and then go on the inside. So number one is going to be this chain mount 7-way keeper right here. I know it's really insignificant and simple, but it keeps everything organized and tidied. I always like a neat and tidy campsite. Number two, and this one's completely DIY, and that is covering all the exposed wires with this nice loom out here. So you can do the 7-way connector running to your jack there, and of course you got all the wires back here running to your battery. Get all those covered with this nice loom. It just makes everything look nice and tidy and protects the wires. Number three is SnapPads. You can get these for your front tongue jack. You can get them for all 4 of your leveling jacks, even these scissor jacks that I've got on mine. It's one less thing that you got to remember to set up and tear down. It's just permanently attached and just makes it a lot easier. Number four, get rid of that lead acid battery that just about every dealer supplies when you buy a new RV and swap it out for a lithium battery. You can use the full amp hours. They charge up a lot faster. This one here has built-in heat since it's exposed, so I can use it in the wintertime. Don't have to worry if it gets below freezing. And it also has a built-in Bluetooth battery monitor to keep track of your usage and how much time you have left. Then moving down the side, number five is going to be uniquely keyed cam locks. Believe it or not, some RVs still come from the factory with the legendary CH751 key on the storage compartments, and so you can make that more secure, get something that's uniquely keyed, and of course you could do all of your storage compartments, even your outdoor kitchen. All right, number six, this is a big one. I don't have time to go into all the details, but this right here is a Segway 2000 watt portable power station, and it's integrated into the RV such that I can run everything 120 volt except for the air conditioner up top, so that includes the microwave and all the outlets. I can run everything off the grid, and this is wired in through a transfer switch for safety. Thank you, Grand Design, for pre-wiring that for me. There's a little viewport down there. But basically, the benefit of having this is that you no longer have to hook up a generator to run 120 volt, with the exception, again, of the air conditioner. It's integrated such, too, that, you know, a lot of people spend a lot of money on lithium batteries and inverters and everything, but it's permanently mounted into their RV, and so when you're not using the RV, all that money is tied up. The way this is done, I can pull this power station out of here and use it when I'm not using the RV, and so I really like that setup. Number seven is going to be these amazing steps right here. These are the Torklift GlowStep Revolution. This is the second RV that I put them on. I absolutely love them. They've got the flexibility to deploy them at different rates, different pitches, depending on your campsite with obstacles. But then they also have the stability with those legs on the ground here. So I've done a ton of different videos on these. Definitely check them out. Everything from install to the different benefits to measurements and so forth. Now for number 8, I'm going to group together a whole bunch of outdoor kitchen mods. And you know, for me personally, when I'm out camping, I probably do about 80% of the cooking outside here. And so I like things to be seamless and easy to get to. You know, Grand Design did a great job with the basics with the griddle here on the tray from MoRide, so it pulls out seamlessly, and the refrigerator, of course. So I've just added a few small things like having a paper towel holder with a griddle. You know, it's super important. We're having a little pull-out spice tray for your seasoning right there. Having a spot to put your trash here. This just kind of clips on to the door opening right there. And then what I really like about this refrigerator right here, because of that number 6 mod with the power station I showed you, this actually gets powered while I'm on the road. Even though it's 120 volts, it gets powered through that power station, so I can put all my meats and everything else that I'm going to be cooking on the griddle right here before I leave, and then they stay in there the entire time. I really like that a lot. But I think my favorite part of this kitchen mod is over here. You know, you got to have prep space and space to lay things out, and sometimes with these outdoor kitchens, especially on smaller units, you don't have enough space for a proper sink. And so basically what I've done here is added a proper sink here, a faucet, and that simply connects to the quick connect right here. So you just have a really nice, fully featured outdoor kitchen in the end. Now moving on to the back, number 9, there is a mysterious inlet down here you can see on the bottom of my RV that is set up to receive 120 volt extension cord. And so what that is a dedicated feed for an Xtreme heater, and it's basically an 800 watt electric heater that is in the underbelly of the RV right here, and it's designed so that in the winter months when it's cold and below freezing, you can turn on that 800 watt electric heater and it puts forced heat into your underbelly to keep, you know, your water lines and things from freezing. And so I've been testing this. This is the first time I put it on a travel trailer, and the framing is a little bit different compared to a fifth wheel, but I've been testing it, and I plan to do a follow-up video probably in the winter later this year and let you know how effective it is. Now number 10, while we're down here, is going to be sealing up your underbelly. And if you're one of my subscribers, then you know I'm real big on properly sealing your underbelly. I've done several videos on it in the past using zip tape. Now Grand Design did a really good job out of the factory sealing up the underbelly, and so I just had to add to it. Instead of using the zip tape this time, I used a solvent-based sealer because the gaps were so small and thin. I thought really a sealer might work out better. So I did that on this particular RV, and so far it's held up really well. Number 11 is a rear backup or observation camera here. And if you're thinking this is an odd location to put a camera, you're absolutely right. I don't think I've seen anybody else do this before. And I'm not going to go into the details in this particular video, but this one is the GM OEM trailer camera that is wired, and it actually connects to your truck so that you can see it on the infotainment system. So I've been testing it for about the last month, and I'll go into more detail why I put it here in this odd location in a future video, and also why I skipped the more popular Furrion camera that pretty much every RV comes pre-wired for. So stay tuned for a future video, but spoiler alert, I'm really liking it so far. Number 12 is this SmartPlug shore power inlet. This is the 30 amp version right here. First time I've tried this on an RV, and I gotta say so far I really like it a lot. It's a lot safer, a lot easier to install and remove. I mean, I think they really have truly built a better mousetrap, so to speak. So I plan to do a future video on this, talk about the install, but really I think more manufacturers should adopt this as just standard, you know, OEM equipment on their RVs. Now for number 13, while we're talking power, there is a hardwired surge protector inside the RV that's permanently mounted, so that when I plug into shore power, like I am over here, I never have to worry about bringing along a surge protector. I just plug straight into the power pedestal, and the one I went with is the Hughes Power WatchDog. It's the 30 amp version, of course. I really like it a lot. And then it also has EPO, so it will guard against low voltage. If you're at a park and the voltage drops, it will cut power to, you know, save delicate electronics like your air conditioner inside the RV. So I really like that. It's just one less thing you got to worry about setting up and tearing down each time. Number 14 is going to be up on the roof here. I haven't done a whole lot, but there is something up here I think is worthwhile to point out, and that is these Siphon Vents to replace your black and gray tank vents with these nicer Siphon Vents. They really do a great job of keeping any odors from coming back down through the RV, and I'll talk more about those vent covers when we get on the inside. All right, well, moving right along down the side here, not a whole lot going on. Number 15, though, I want to point out is up here in this storage compartment slash wet bay, which I really like the way Grand Design did this, especially at this price point, keeping the water connection in here. But number 15 is going to be a permanent PRV, a permanent pressure reducing valve. And I've got a little inspection window here so we can see inside, and it's that brass body right there. And so again, just in keeping up with simplicity and having fewer things to set up and tear down, you don't have to put a pressure reducing valve at the pedestal outside. Instead, it's permanent inside the RV. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but this one is a shark bite fitting PRV, which is the first time I've ever done this in an RV. Normally, I would use traditional crimp rings, you know, and crimp it to the pecs, that style. But this whole series with this RV has been more budget friendly, you know, kind of DIY. And so I'm experimenting with something different. And I'll do a future video and let you know how that is working out. Then number 16, it's almost insignificant. I debated about mentioning this, but I've got these leak detectors scattered throughout the RV in places where maybe I'm not regularly seeing in case there's a leak of any kind. So I've got one here, I've got another one back behind this Nautilus panel, I've got ones, you know, under the sinks, inside in the cabinets. These are fairly inexpensive from Govee, and it just gives you a nice audible alert if there ever were to be a leak so that you can stop it, catch it right away, and shut your water off. Of course, it's always best practice at your campsite, if you're going to be away, turn the water off in the first place. Number 17, carrying that theme forward of less things to set up and tear down, I've got a permanent water filter right there. This is just a standard household water filter. It takes 10-inch cartridges. But the cartridge that I've got in there right now, it's a 5-micron filter. Compare that to the most popular RV water filters that you screw on at the hydrant. Those are typically going to be about 20 microns, so a lot finer particles over here. I also like this one is clear, so you can see what's going on, but it's basically just one less thing that I have to set up and tear down each time. Number 18 is a random unlabeled switch. Don't you love those in your RV? This one right here from the factory actually was used kind of as a docking light down there by the sewer, and I actually changed it so that it feeds 2 sets of LED strip lights that run the entire sides, the entire length of the RV downlighting at the campsite. I really like this a lot because sometimes you want some security at your campsite, but you don't want to blind the neighbors. And so the LED strips that I chose, you can actually change the color. Now I usually use amber or blue, but it is nice if you wanted to change the color, you can. Of course, you can have fun and have a little dance party, but there's a remote, it's RF, so you can use it inside the RV and control everything. You can dim the lights, you know, turn them on and off, that sort of thing. So I really like that feature a lot, and it was nice that Grand Design already had at least the first half done with that switch there and power going to the back there. Number 19 is the LevelMatePRO Plus right here. Now I came from a fifth wheel that had hydraulic auto leveling, and so this is kind of a nice in between when you've got, you know, manual scissor jacks and you're setting up at your campsite, especially left to right leveling, and whether you're driving up on blocks or some kind of wedges, to be able to connect your phone and then see how level you are, how far you need to go back or forward on those blocks or wedges to be level left or right. So I think this saves a lot of time and it makes it more of a one-person job. So I'm really enjoying this so far. Number 20, while we're in this compartment, I'll just mention it real quick for those that have RVs like mine that come pre-wired with the tire link from Lippert to monitor your tire pressure on your trailer tires. That's something that a lot of RVs are coming pre-wired for. I opted not to do that and instead go with the GM OEM trailer tire pressure sensors. You have to actually get them installed inside the tires. I actually did this just about a month ago, and so I'm still testing it out before I release an official video. But what I like about this is, of course, it's inside the tire, but then it shows the tire pressure of your trailer on your truck's center infotainment system. So it's just one less thing you got to worry about, and it's just always right there, you know, no clutter or anything. All right, that's just about it on the outside, so we'll head in next. But before we do, I almost forgot there's 2 more out here that I want to mention. Number 21 is this Onnais keyless entry door lock for your RV. This is the 2nd generation model, and I really like this lock a lot. I've done several videos on it, and basically this is just a lot more secure. You have over 32,000 combinations, possibilities here. Compare that to the average RV lock that has 4 buttons and a 4-digit long code. That's only 256 possible combinations. I mean, someone could literally brute force their way into your RV, but here you got over 32,000, so I really like that a lot. And then last one outside, number 22, is going to be this Lippert tinted door glass with an integrated thin shade, and you know, a lot of RVs come with the frosted glass on the door, which is fine, but I think it is nice to be able to see out the door. And so Lippert has this nice replacement here that's tinted to match the rest of your windows, and then it has the integrated thin shade right here for privacy. Now, there is a certain amount of awkwardness you just saw there with the screen kind of blocking access to that shade, but I still think it's a nice upgrade. All right, well, let's hop on inside where it's much cooler and drier. And I'm going to start with number 23. This one might seem insignificant, but it's already paid off for me at least. And that is, I went around the entire perimeter where the floor meets either the wall or the cabinetry, and I siliconed that seam all the way around. And the reason that's important is, especially in a smaller RV like this, you never know where water is going to hit the floor and run up against the cabinetry or the walls, whether you're taking a shower and things splash out, or maybe something falls out of the refrigerator in transit, right? And the wood that's used in RVs, if it gets wet, especially on the end grain where it hits the floor, it's going to soak up that water. The film, the veneer on the outside is going to peel or bubble. And so by sealing that off with silicone, you basically make it more water resistant. And I've already had some little oopsies here and there where water was on the floor when we got to our campsite. And so by sealing that up, no damage. It just all wipes up. So I highly recommend doing that. Number 24, cabinet door restraints. Like you're seeing right up here, this wire that keeps the cabinet from opening too far. And I think this is really helpful, especially in a smaller RV where you've got a lot of storage and everything's really tight. And so you don't want these nice walls to get all banged up by your cabinet doors, the hardware. And so this restraint right here keeps the door from banging into the wall. And so I've got these on pretty much all the different cabinets throughout the RV where there's something that could hit, you know, just like this one here in the kitchen. And you know, really it's just an easy preventative step to help keep things looking good in your RV, especially if you got kids. Number 25, this one has been extremely functional for me. You know, Grand Design did a great job with the shoe storage down there, but then you got to have a place to put your jackets, your keys, your wallet, and things like this. So just a real simple tray like this with hooks has really been functional for me. I just had to grind down the edge of this one to fit this profile right here, but this is extremely useful. Number 26, let's talk about vents with your AC and heater, especially if you've got a ducted AC like mine here. You know, from the factory, typically they have vents here, registers that don't have louvers that you can open and close. And so it just has a constant amount of air flowing out at each of the different registers. And sometimes it's kind of nice to be able to scale back how much air is coming out, especially one, you know, back here in a bunk area. And so those are super easy to swap out. You just got to match up the diameter, and that way you can control how much air and of course the direction. And you can actually do the same thing for your heat ducts, your registers. You can control how much with these nice louvered vents. Number 27, this is probably one of my favorite visual enhancements on the inside. This nice USA decal or mural that's on the wall here. And basically I've got a Murphy bed, and Grand Design has this nice hard wallboard behind it. And so I was able to get a map here. These are just vinyl decals, but I had them colored custom to match the existing colors here inside the RV. So it kind of just blends and doesn't stand out, you know, like a sore thumb. It's a lot of fun though for the kids, just to give them an idea of where we are camping. And I just really like the overall aesthetic that it adds to the RV inside here. Okay, so I just folded down the Murphy bed here for number 28, which is a mattress topper for a Murphy bed. You know, personally, I find that as I age, my requirements for comfort seem to increase. And of course, Murphy beds are not known for being the most comfortable because of the way they fold and have a section of the mattress that's partitioned off. And so what it is, I took a 3-inch mattress topper here. It's kind of one of those gel foam mattress toppers. And then I got an encasement, basically a cover that fits it very tight and snugly to basically make a monolithic mattress here. And it still folds just fine with that Murphy bed. Mine kind of folds on this upper third right about here. But this makes the bed so much more comfortable and just a whole lot more enjoyable when you're on your camping trips. Number 29, this one's been an absolute lifesaver for me, especially if you have a job where, you know, as much as you'd like to disconnect when you go camping, you really still need to be connected to the internet. This right here is the TravlFi JourneyXTR, and I did a video about a year ago testing this against the more popular WineGuard 4G LTE router hotspot. And what I really like about this guy right here is it connects to the top 3 carriers. You know, whether you're at a campsite where Verizon, T-Mobile, or AT&T has the strongest signal, it'll connect to the strongest one seamlessly and then provide internet through that particular carrier, and you don't have to be dealing with all kinds of different prepaid plans. So I really like that a lot. In fact, this is one of the few pieces that I brought over from my old RV to this one because I like it that much. Number 30, this one's really simple. You know, Grand Design's got this nice TV cabinet right here with a smart TV, but then what do you do if you want to watch Blu-rays? So I've got this nice Blu-ray player back here with a little hide-it mount, keeps it nice and flush against the wall and everything nice and tidy, and you don't have to worry about hooking it up each time. Number 31, I'm going to group together a bunch of basic, we'll just call it kitchen enhancements, things like adding a paper towel holder or a little towel rack that rotates with arms out here. I haven't done a backsplash yet, but I might do that in the future. I think my favorite one though is down here, and that is a nice hidden trash can. You know, I'm a big fan of keeping everything looking neat, and so here I've got a trash can that's seamlessly integrated into this cabinet and just keeps everything looking nice and neat. Number 32 is a MaxxFan powered vent from MaxxAir. I think every RV needs at least one of these. This one puts out about 900 CFM, and it's a real basic one. It's got 4 speeds. It's a manual open close, which I'm totally okay with that given the height of this ceiling and the price point of this. And then of course it's got a built-in rain cover on the outside, so you don't have to worry about that if it's raining outside. But these are really useful for moving air, and they're very efficient. Number 33, let's talk RV safety for just a moment. Of course, every RV is going to come with smoke detectors, at least one. But have you ever tested those smoke detectors at how quickly they'll pick up smoke, you know, how responsive they are? And I actually did a test a couple months back from a vendor that sent me some smoke detectors to test from Xsense. This one right here, it's a combination smoke and CO detector, but I was really surprised how much quicker this one responded compared to the generic smoke detectors that, you know, most RVs come with. But then if you have a smart home technology at your house that you're used to, in my case I have a lot of Nest products and smoke detectors, well, you can actually add one into that existing ecosystem, and that way it's connected and will basically monitor your RV remotely. And so if there ever were a fire, since I'm connected to the internet, this would send an alert to my phone and give me, you know, time to react. Now, I will say that smoke detectors like this one here from Nest and this other one from Xsense, technically they're not certified or designed for use in an RV, so you got to decide, you know, what's right for you at the end of the day. But I think this adds a lot of functionality and just peace of mind for safety for your family. Last 3 are going to be in the bathroom. Back here, number 34 is a dehumidifier here that I've got in the shower. Now, I only use this when the RV is in storage, when I'm not using it, and I'll tell you why. I live in the South where it's very humid, and so if you don't condition your RV while it's in storage, it's going to get very humid in here. And there's a lot of products like the wallboard, the veneer, the film that's on these cabinets, that if it gets so humid and, you know, there's moisture and then it gets dry, that constant expanding, contracting will actually cause that film to peel. And you've probably seen RVers post online and show how their doors, the veneer, the film here is just peeled right off. And a lot of that, I think, is just because of the humidity perhaps that's introduced to RVs. And so having a dehumidifier like this one in your RV when it's in storage, it just keeps everything nice and dry and climate controlled. And you can just set it so the drain drains right into your shower, and then of course have that go through the gray tank. So I highly recommend doing that while your RV's in storage. Number 35 is going to be up top here. This is the MaxxFan Mini Plus. And basically it's a fan, much better and stronger compared to the standard exhaust fans that most RVs come with, especially in this price point, that do practically nothing. This one's double the CFM, 200 CFM versus about 100 is your typical, you know, standard fan. And then this one also has that nice light up here. And then it has an analog switch right here so that you can set it up here. And then if you have a wall switch like I do, you can use that to control it. I also like that there's nothing to crank to open outside. It has a nice cover up top, and then it just has this little lever right here to open and close. And so I really like this a lot. It's a lot more kid friendly and of course moves more air. And number 36, last, let's just say that I saved the best for last. You can probably hear the dehumidifier running in the background there, but number 36 is a heated bidet. And I'll just say, if you know, you know. This is an absolute must in my opinion. And what makes this one so special is it has a thermostatic mixing valve back here, and so it's mixing the hot and cold together to get just the perfect temperature for that bidet. And this is really, I guess, my fifth iteration of installing one of these in an RV, and so I'll put a link to a previous video I did on a fifth wheel. It's very similar to the way I installed this one here for those that are curious, but I really think this is a nice amenity to have while you're out camping. Well, folks, I believe that is it. You can see really the theme is just to make the RVing, the camping experience more seamless, more enjoyable, less things to set up and tear down, so that ultimately you can spend more time with your family and enjoy the great outdoors. Now, do me a favor, if there are any of those mods that you would like more details on, comment below, and that'll help me know how to carve out some time in the future to do some individual videos that are dedicated to specific mods and upgrades. And then, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I will include a link to my Amazon storefront where I've taken a list and put all the different items featured in today's video, all the things basically that I've bought here on my Imagine XLS 21BHE, and so I'll put it in that list. Again, I appreciate you using that to help support the channel. As always, thanks for watching.